YouTube, what's good? It's your boy, Paul Harris, aka The Crazy Art. Hey, guess what? This is your first time tuning in. Go ahead, hit the doggone subscribe button, hit notification bell every time I post up new content. Well, people, if if I tend to look a little puny, it's because I actually really been I've actually really been sick pretty much um, the whole month of January, if you actually really stop and think about it for a minute. And the only reason is it's what happens when you get the little ones running around the house, and then you send their ass off to school, right? And then some of them, you know, once they go on a little bathroom break or whatever, and yeah, you think them little fuckers in there using the bathroom, and for the most part, they may be in there using the bathroom, but a lot of them like to go in there and put their little hand in the toilet water and then bring it back to the classroom, right? Or it could be just for the simple fact that the house that you stay in ain't to the best of standards, and you get sick that way, and then guess what? They carry their ass to school, and they brush that, then it passes off, and then they bring it back to the house, and yes, it actually really got me twice. Um, but this is my week off from the gym anyway. Cause matter of fact, hell, me and me and the wife been sick from what the babies have had. So, but in that case, I think the majority of it is is done. I'm recovering. Tasty beverage in hand. I bet you I said, damn, you been sick, but you drinking. It ain't even 11 o'clock in the morning. That's my fucking business. So let's first and foremost, let's say, hey, look, rest in peace to Carl Weathers, aka Apollo Creed, um, in the action, with the Rocky movies, other movies that he played in. Uh, Damn good actor. Rest in peace to country singer star Toby Keith. Uh, One of his hits that I actually really enjoyed is "Should Have Been a Cowboy," but actually a lot of his songs that he sung, right, that I actually really enjoyed. Uh, so rest in peace to those two individuals. Now, let's actually really get into the nitty gritty of what's going on here. Just know, well, I'm not gonna sit up here and say that I wasn't gonna do a show because this is indeed Black History Month, and if you actually really look at if you look at the how I got it, I said February is his Black Story Month, and then I got the Grammys, the Super Bowl, NBA All Star Game. And it's just for the simple fact that out of the three events that I posted up, a lot of these are dominated by the people that's the same color as me, right? So really, let's actually really look at this. Let's actually just break this shit down. So Sunday was the Grammys, right? And by this time, everybody know what the fuck happened to Killer Mike. He won best rap album, you know, Well, he got 3 Grammys, but he got arrested. And so I'm just like, okay, so where the fuck did they do that at? Right? And come to find out it was a little bit of an altercation in the back, and LA LAPD or whatever. Uh, they felt like they had to come in there and uh, do what they do best, I guess. But then again, let's just look at this. This is Black History Month. Can't take black folks nowhere. And then I heard that shit was Charlemagne the God was saying to my, well, they didn't arrest Will Smith and he slapped somebody. And I'm like, okay, look at Will Smith. And then you look at Killer Mike, right? Who the hell you think finna get arrested? Right? Then Jay-Z, he gets up there and he wins. And so my whole deal is, I mean, I get it. You part of the music industry or whatever. You've been bringing music to people for years, and so I guess you didn't got that big. You didn't got that big in the game where that okay, you could come up with your own award, right? And then you turn around and they were like, okay, well, we gonna give this first year in the running, which I'm pretty sure it is, you gonna give it to Jay-Z. That's and then but then I'm gonna jump, not necessarily jump subject here for a minute, but if you actually really stop and think about it for a minute, they did the same shit in the NBA, where that Michael Jordan, he has his award now. Larry Bird has his award now, right? Now he done jumped over here to as far as like the music industry goes, right? Now, Dr. Dre, he got his music award, right? And so in our case, so Jay-Z wins the award, right? And then a lot of people sitting up there, Beyonce, his wife, right? She got 33 Grammys. 33, right? But she has never won Album of the Year. Now, my thing is my thing is this, right? I mean, again, this is why I say his black story, right? Because you gotta look at, okay, well, who came up with the Grammys in the first place, right? Whose platform that you're actually on, right? So basically what he was, and so I heard a lot of other people saying, well, so you mean to tell me that, okay, out of the albums that you put out, right, that none of your stuff, your albums were only good for a couple of tracks, right? And then the rest of it was the rest of it is garbage. Basically that's pretty much what you're saying, right? Or let's just say that it's not, but it's what the audience is saying, right? But my thing is, don't sit up here and bitch and complain about a music industry that, for the most part, that you don't control. Yeah, you may dominate, but you don't control. And then that what you do control, you do to the upcoming people the exact same way that you got done, if not worse. So but in another case, right? So she got 33 Grammys. She ain't won no Album of the Year. While on the other hand, Taylor Swift, between those two, the score is now Taylor Swift 2, Beyonce 0, right? But then again, I'm like, but you Beyonce, you the queen bee. So what you bitching for? Well, not to say that she was bitching, right? But it's that that's just how you have to look at it, plain and simple. The music industry doesn't belong to us. It never did, right? I mean, but then motherfuckers holler about, well, and then he went into some song and dance about what Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff did back in what he was either 88 or 89 when they boycotted, the Grammys and all that kind of stuff, you know. And so again, so here it is that going as far back as 1989, right? And this is 2024. So again, you got to ask yourself, okay, what progress has really been made, right? I mean, but then again, you also got to look at the simple fact that you know the again, this is all about the doggone music industry or just the industry in general. Which brings me to my second point: the Super Bowl, this year's Super Bowl. Which this is actually really going to be a good one if you actually really stop and think about it for a minute. Because I was actually really talking to one of my good friends the other day, and I was actually really telling him that how the NFL, ooh, she raising all kind of hell too. So so in our case, so here's the deal, people. So here's the deal, people. Right? Kansas City versus San Francisco. And we all know, and if you actually really stop and think about who's the main attraction at the who's actually could have been the main attraction probably since the very start of the season, maybe even midway through the season, is the motherfucker that just won album of the year, Taylor Swift, right? Let her tell us she's a diehard Kansas City Chief fan, right? Her boyfriend is in the doggone Super Bowl, right? And this motherfucker just won album of the year, right? Now, let's just actually really just stop and let's actually really just stop and put this in perspective for a minute. Let's ask a question. If Taylor Swift is not dating the Kelsey guy, right? Does she win album of the year? Does that go to Beyonce? Right? Something that you got. That's something to actually really stop and think about for a minute. And then here's something else, too, right? Again, go back at the title of this show. February is His Black Story Month, right? So here's the deal, people. And I don't know if I actually talked about this or not, but if I didn't, they're like, well, y'all already know how I feel about sports, right? A lot of it, if not all of it, is rigged, right? So let's just actually really just stop and think about all the other previous Super Bowls that have been, and what has happened, and say like in a particular, in a particular state or whatever, and then whatever is happening, then months later, when football season happens, then you already know who won the Super Bowl and why, because of what was going on before the football season even started. So let's actually just stop and think about this for a minute. right? Again, February, Black History Month, or African American History Month. But if you actually really stop and if you actually really stop and pay attention to what has actually really been happening, probably like within the last 10 years, right? Let's just say anywhere from 5 to 10 years, maybe even a little bit longer, right? That you got people like myself, right, that's at a low level. And then you got people like Dane Calloway and others, right, that are actually like really out in the forefront, actually like really starting to tell us, right, hey, guess what? We're not black, we're not African American, right? You're Native American, right? Which in a sense, I actually like really got a problem with that because for one, we were here before any of this was called the United States of America. So how the hell you gonna put a doggone native tag on me when that wasn't the fuck it was called in the first damn place? But in another case, let's just look at this for a minute. Before two, you know, before Washington changed their name was the Washington Redskins, and the only reason because the motherfucker felt like, okay, well, you being offensive to Native Americans, and I'm just like, okay, first and foremost, I'm not red, right? I mean, you can look at me like I'm more of I mean, I've said before, I'm more of a penny color more than anything else. Now, if you want to put it like, you want to call me like a little slight reddish brown, then hey, by all means, do so, right? Well, basically, what I'm saying is this: if you look at the KC, if you actually look at the logo, they call themselves the Kansas City Chiefs, right? And basically, that's all. That just is as far as I'm gonna take it right there because it's like, okay, people, and and I'm surprised ain't nobody actually really picked up on it, right? Because since this has been going on, who's been in the Super Bowl, right? And just like I say, so this is, Patrick Mahomes, them guys, they've been there damn near every year, right? So this is like the fourth time. This is like the fourth time, and this would be the franchise sixth Super Bowl appearance as far as like franchise history goes. So, but that just, I mean, this actually really just, like motherfucker, they may look at that and be like, hey, you reaching a little bit, but I'm just like, okay, well, you actually really stop and think about it for a minute, right? So, so like I say, when he went the first, yeah, I think the first time he lost, I think, women, he won, then he lost to Brady. Then he won last year, right? And then, he lost, yeah, because then he beat San Francisco, right? So he beat San Francisco. Then he fucked around, lost to Brady. Or it could be the other way around, So, but another case. And then you got to actually really stop and think about, okay, well, why the fuck did he lose to Brady? Well, because Brady is a goddamn Buccaneer. What does a Buccaneer do? Right? I told y'all that on my previous channel. What does a Buccaneer do? Right? They be on their ship, they look at your ship, and then they come to your ship, snatch all your shit, right? And then what's so bad about it? It was down there in Florida, Seminole country, right? So if that wasn't the biggest slap in the face, I don't know what the fuck was. Now this time round, we got a Super Bowl rematch. Montana Bowl 2.0, right? So now you got Kansas City and San Francisco again. This time is up in Vegas. Now, whether you spell Las Vegas like how, put like this, whether you spell Vegas with the A or whether you spell Vegas with the U, right? Guess what? The outcome of this Super Bowl has already been is already written in stone, people, right? Now, how I can tell you who I feel it will win? Kansas City, right? And it's not because I can't stand the 49ers, right? It's just for the simple fact that, hey, it's too much. In a sense, you could be like, okay, it's too much going on for Kansas City not to win, right? But then you gotta look at the shit what happened in the state of California. That huge rain and most of California is flooded out. So now you gotta look at, okay, Biden, President Biden, if he hasn't done so already, he's gonna classify the state of California as a disaster area. So here comes all this money, right? You know, to get people evacuated, get them food, shelter, and all that kind of stuff. So now you're in the Super Bowl. And so I feel like the only way that San Francisco wins is because of what happened in California. And so there's like, hey, look, we gonna give you this money, but if you motherfuckers win the Super Bowl, then look, y'all gonna have to get that money back. And there's no that's money that's gonna have to come back in some shape or form, right? So, and then you got that with Patrick Mahomes dead, right? This motherfucker, right? He'll be like, well, his dad got a DUI, and this is like his third one. So now they're saying, okay, if he convicted, this motherfucker going to the big house. So now you guys already got to look at, okay, well, you know, it's a lot of variables. There's a lot of variables involved, right? So, and then there's that, okay, well, we're trying to, and which I think is bullshit, right? You know, they trying to bolster up Patrick Mahomes as to be the next Tom Brady, right? But then again, everybody on motherfucking Brock Purdy's nuts. Talking about, well, he's doing shit that we ain't never seen before, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. And I'm gonna tell you something, right? But regardless of what the fuck happens after Sunday, the following season, watch that motherfucker. He gonna be playing like straight shit, and then everybody's gonna be like, "Well, damn, what was all of this? Well, you know, what happened here? What happened there? All that kind of stuff." Watch what the fuck I tell you. So now, last piece of business, which for the most part, and I actually really close out Black History Month, so-called Black History Month. You got the NBA All-Star game, which is, I want to say, February 18th, I believe. So again, another organization that is dominated by the people of color, but is not ran by the people of color. And just know, just like with the Super Bowl and the Grammys, right? All this shit is motherfucking staged, right? These motherfuckers, they already know who's gonna win and why. So for the most part, y'all gotta ask yourself, why even bother watching this shit, right? And it's only because these motherfuckers said, well, there's always still one little gleam of hope that they'll pull this out, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. But basically that's it right there. You know, can't take black folks nowhere. Motherfuckers getting arrested after you don't want 3 Grammys. You still ain't being recognized, and you don't want 33 Grammys, right? And put like this, the motherfucker that won album of the year is a girlfriend to the motherfucker that played for the Chiefs. So come on now, really? Y'all actually like really thought that that shit was gonna happen? Then like I said, but like I said, the question that you need to ask yourself is, okay, does Taylor Swift win album of the year if she's not dating the Kelsey boy, right? So that's my spiel for for Black History Month or whatever. If again, I'm still trying to. Hopefully, this is Wednesday, and to be perfectly honest with you, this is like the best I've felt since last Wednesday. Actually, stop and think about it for a minute. So, but hopefully, once this week is out, recover from uh, what the fuck is actually really gonna happen on Sunday. I'm picking Kansas City because basically because I can't stand San Francisco. So in either case, and then I already gave you the reasons why I feel like that Kansas City should win. I also gave you some reasons why um, San Francisco could win because of what happened. So all what the hell I gotta tell y'all is Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid. I hope you motherfuckers paid your state farm insurance, right? Because if you didn't, well, like this, we'll know come fire around by 8 o'clock Sunday night. So that being said, hey, look, y'all already knew who I am. Y'all already know who the fuck to. Y'all already know already what the fuck to do, who the fuck to tell. I'm gonna holler at y'all.